get down to brass tacks, gentlemen.
This is it. The American dream.
Let's just cut the crap and get down to brass tacks here.
This is it. The American dream.
Let's get down to brass tacks here.
This is it. The American dream.
But let's get the brass tacks here.
We don't need to fucking practice, Randy.
Welcome back. It is the Brass Tacks Podcast, episode 48. We are your hosts, Rick and Adam. My name is Rick.
Is this thing on?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I hate you.
Fucking hang yourself. Yeah, you like that too, Logan? Jesus Christ. And of course, we're joined by the beautiful and talented executive intern, Logan. Hello.
Hello.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, we just did a nice little pre-show stream. We are live once again. Quick reminder, if you guys want to catch the live show, it is every Saturday, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. West Coast. And it's going to be on Podbean. So make sure you download the Podbean app, follow Brass Tacks Podcast, be able to chat and call in and all that other bullshit live. Hello. I see we already have somebody in the chat there. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day.
You actually said the time zones right this time.
Well, that's good. What did I say last time?
You thought West Coast was 2 hours behind us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I sound like I know more than I do most of the time, or maybe that's my own narcissism and I really just sound like a fucking idiot 100% of the time.
Yeah, it's probably the latter.
Why don't you just go fuck yourself, dude? Man, I'll tell you what though, I am not looking forward to this week's work, given this fucking mask mandate. Which I'm happy that we do have a mask mandate, and I think it's necessary considering the insane amount of people that I run into at the liquor store who just, there's still people that don't believe the virus is real and shit like that. They think it's all like pre-manufactured horse shit to like keep us in fear and all this other crap. But like, I'm not like it's the whole reason I'm dreading going into work this week is because now that Colorado is mandated that everybody has to wear masks no matter what, as long as you're out in public, you got to have one on. That means on my end, now I have to deal with the fucking drunk people who are going to come in starting shit. You always get the people who intentionally don't wear masks and shit because they want a problem. And they're alcoholics. So when I go to refuse them service and they realize like, oh fuck, he's getting in the way of my vice, I'm the asshole all of a sudden. So like
They don't have time to get masks, Richard.
Well, they're too busy staving off the shakes.
Their spare time is consumed with consuming alcohol.
No, you're right though. And I'm just dreading it, man. I just hate dealing with the horse shit you have to deal with these people anyway. Like it's already hard enough when your business mainly your main people that are actually like coming in on a regular basis. They're all either functioning or very low functioning, sometimes non-functioning alcoholics. And when you're dealing with addicts on a regular basis, adding that one extra hoop for them to have to jump through is such a fucking pain, dude.
It's overload.
Yeah,
overload.
And it falls back on us. It's not like they're going to write their congressman or anything like that and be like, I don't agree with the mask mandate. No, they're going to yell at the guy behind the counter who has absolutely zero fucking influence on any of these decisions.
Yeah.
But it just sucks. Like a guy came in. I mean, dude, we had a homeless guy come in the other day and start shit with the owner. And she's like the sweetest lady on the planet. I don't know how this dude got worked up. But she was telling me that this homeless guy came in and I guess he was milling around the parking lot and just kind of harassing the patrons as they were coming in and coming out. He was like begging for change and all that other shit, which is kind of new for our area. We don't really have you don't see a ton of homeless people around here, but this guy's relatively new. And so we had to kind of set him straight. And luckily there was another business owner nearby kind of a bigger dude. And so she like kind of went next door and was like, hey, I got a guy getting aggressive. He won't leave the store. And I guess he came over and kind of helped out, like helped get him out. But again, another just he's psychologically not there. This guy was not there at all. You know, all he knows is it costs this amount of money for this type of shot. And of course, you hear the same thing every fucking time. They come in and they're like, they just throw change on the counter and they go, give me whatever this will give me, like the strongest thing that this will buy. Like, motherfucker, like, can you at least do some kind of pre-planning before you come in? Like, that's the one thing I fucking hate about addicts is they make their problems everyone else's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was a fucking addict, dude, and like I don't think I ever fucking went and made my problem somebody else's to that extent. Like, obviously there were times where I was probably emotionally not available when I should have been to certain people and stuff, but other than that, like I wasn't going around borrowing money I knew I wasn't going to ever pay back. Like, it's just, there's shit you don't do. Like, if you have a problem, it's your fucking problem.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, but that's the life, dude. That's the life they chose to live.
And I see in the chat here, Karen, she says she has asthma, and that's the only reason she has a hard time wearing one. That's what sucks is like some people have, you know, medical predispositions that are going to make it a little bit more of a pain in the ass. And she's in South Carolina, so like, that's one of those. Yeah, you're just dealing with 100% humidity all the fucking time.
Yeah.
What, Adam?
No, it's fine.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Hey, all opinions are welcome here. What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know the science behind that. So
behind the asthma thing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I grew up with asthma, and it's just, you know, seasonally, there's certain seasons that are harder to breathe.
I know
in.
asthma exists. I don't know the science behind asthma and face masks.
They lied to me about asthma. But that sucks. And no, I've never sucked dick for marijuana. Have any of you ever sucked dick for marijuana?
No.
In a lively chat today.
I feel like that's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, like Adam might have. He's just not willing to admit it.
Adam on monkey bars is a low-hanging fruit. But it's just, you know, I don't know. I'm going on vacation soon, so I'm just gonna try to work my way through it. Just know that there's a light on the end of the tunnel. But even then, like even vacation, like I have to fly back home.
At the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I have to fly back home. And first of all, I hate flying. I don't know. I mean, Logan, what are your thoughts on flying? I think you know Adam and I fucking hate it, but
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it either.
It just sucks. I mean, I understand. It's a germ tube.
Yeah.
That's why
it's like a cruise line.
Well, I took the advice of a sweet young lady, and I went with Delta because they seem to be the only ones that are being responsible. Yeah. Go fuck your mother, dude. But yeah, they do a thing where they're like flying half capacity. They don't seat people next to each other and shit like that. And so it costs a little bit more, but like if I can pay the extra, like I think if I would have gone any other airline, I would have paid maybe $50 less. Yeah. But to me, that's worth it to mitigate potential contraction and shit like that.
Well, you're going into a hotbed.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing.
That.
Well, right, and that's another thing
too.
Don't
be bringing that back here.
Well, no, this is the thing is like I've already got it all figured out. Like, because obviously I'm not going to be running around Myrtle Beach like partying and fucking hanging out with like big groups of people and shit. I'm going to stay in one place. And then my sister, the whole reason I'm going is like my niece's birthday is coming up, and she's doing like they're throwing like a fucking like almost a week-long party at this resort. So we have our own contained environment that we'll all be in. And I know that like the family members that are showing up have all been kind of in their own little environments and shit like that. So it's a bunch of people who are intelligent enough to stay out of crowds and stay out of like places like that. Yeah. So obviously you're never gonna be able to yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing is it's not 100%, but there are plenty of things that you can do to prevent these measures, you know, like wearing a fucking mask, wearing some gloves, you know, washing your hands, things of that nature. Let's see what's up in the chat here. I worked at an open bar outside the boardwalk, mandatory mask at work, with working in the heat and humidity, and wearing the mask while working basically gave me a form of lung burn. Shit, that sounds intense.
You got to watch out for that.
I've never, intern Logan, can you Google lung burn?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this particular type of injury.
Yeah.
I do not miss that fucking southern humid heat, dude. That's some bullshit.
Hot heat, man, for sure.
Yeah, you've been down to Myrtle Beach in the summertime. That shit'll suck the life out of you, man.
Yeah.
The only people that thrive in that type of environment are like teenagers and younger because they still have that weird energy.
Alligators.
What?
There's alligators. They thrive too, I'm sure, right?
Well, I'm sure, yes. I'm sure fucking prehistoric reptiles are doing fine in the heat.
Yeah.
Jesus
They're doing all right.
Christ. You have to wonder, how do they, I don't know. That's one of those things that always weirds me out. Just like species that have been around for that long. Kind of wish you could sit down and interview them.
They're just hanging out, dude.
Well, like I said, man, I wouldn't mind getting a couple of sea turtles together, making some ashtrays.
Lung burns kind of just like from inhaling like smoke from a house fire, like fumes that you're not supposed to. It's like an actual burn on your lung almost.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good. I'm surprised. Like I'm glad I didn't get that type of shit whenever I ran into that burning building that time when I saved those stupid dogs and cats.
Did you?
Yeah, remember? You don't remember that story at the first house?
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the worst fucking. Well, I mean, it started out like a cool day, then it slowly became a shitty day because we lived in a duplex and the house next to us the unit next to us was burning. Basically what was happening is I was in the basement, I was getting a blowjob, and my neighbor starts knocking on my basement window and he's like, Rick, get out of the house. The house is on fire. You got to hurry up and get out of the house. And so I run out of the house and I see that my neighbor's fucking unit's on fire. And I'm like, well, oh shit, now what are we going to do? And I'm like thinking like I've got so many instruments and like all this shit downstairs. I was like, I can't afford to lose this stuff. So I basically just like wrapped a shirt around my face and I punched their living room window out. And I jumped into the living room and I had these two little bitch fire extinguishers and I just started walking down the hallway spraying the flames. And the whole reason this fire started was because my neighbor left for like 10 minutes to go pick up his paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And he left a fan on, like an oscillating fan in his room. He had candles lit on his nightstand and a fucking tapestry hanging on the wall right over the candles. So obviously,
smart.
That's going to start a fucking fire, right?
Smart.
Yeah. And so I fought the fire all the way back to the bedroom. And about that time is when the fire extinguishers stopped working, of course, because they're little bitch fire extinguishers. So now I'm just standing in a room that's literally just growing. Like the flames are going up. It's getting hotter. I'm like, okay, I need to get the fuck out of here. So I hurried up and I ran down to the basement to make sure nobody was asleep in the rooms. And I get down the basement and all the dogs and some cats are fucking huddled up in the corner. And I'm like, oh shit. So I gather up the dogs and the cats and I'm pushing them up the stairs and like they're running ahead of me. And then I start getting all dizzy and I start seeing sparkles and stuff. So I had to crawl on the floor out the front door. And right as I get out the front door and collapse on the sidewalk, that's when the fire department shows up.
Perfect timing.
And instead of being like, hey, thanks for keeping it contained, because I basically just kept the fire contained to one room. And they were able to put it out in no time. But instead of like being like, oh man, it's a good thing you did that, they started yelling at me. Like the firemen yelled at me, and then the cops came and the cops yelled at me. And I was like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? There's animals in there. You guys are taking your sweet fucking time getting here. And then the only thing I wanted to do was have a beer after that. And I had a bunch of Pabst in my refrigerator and they fucking taped off the entire duplex. So like I'm out in the yard, bare feet, wearing fatigue pants and a fucking basketball jersey. And I didn't even take a shower after getting the blowjob or whatever. So I'm like feeling gross and I'm covered. Like I inhaled a bunch of smoke and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they taped off the building and they wouldn't let me go in to get my beer. So I got yelled at again because they took statements from some of the roommates as they started pulling into the driveway. Mm-hmm. And when they did that, I snuck back into the house and they came back to talk to me again because they were going to test my lungs. And they came back to come talk to me and like bring me back to the ambulance. And they were like, dude, did you go back in there? And I'm just sitting there on the floor, like on the grass with a beer in my hand. I was like, dude, yeah, I just fucking fought a fire. I want a fucking beer, dude. And so he was like, well, you go in there one more time, there's going to be some fines and shit. And then they brought me over to the ambulance and they tested my lungs and I was fine, obviously. But they were like, yeah, we're going to cover this. You don't have to pay for this or anything. Sure enough, week later, I get a bill for fucking $500 in the mail because they gave me a breathing test and all this other shit in the ambulance.
Oh yeah. You got to say, nope, I'm all set.
Yeah. Well, what I did was I forwarded it to my landlord and he took care of it.
Oh, that's good.
You remember him. He was a fucking character.
Interesting guy.
This dude was like 52, always doing pills. And he had like a 25-year-old girlfriend that was just a hua. She was like always creeping on us too. Like the roommates in the house, he'd be downstairs working on something and her hoey ass. And she was like dirty hot. Mm-hmm. You know, if there wouldn't have been a conflict of interest, I'd probably, whatever. But the thing is that she was just greasy about it. She'd get way too close and just way too invasive about it. And it always made me think like, I don't know what's been in you. Like, I just don't like rolling the dice like that when it comes to my wee-wee.
Yeah.
It's not a smart move.
Could be a cuckold.
I mean, It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, but he was too much of an alpha, I think, to get into that kind of arrangement. He wasn't really he's not one of those dudes that I could see sitting in the corner jacking his rod while some other guy has at his woman. He was built like a goddamn Viking.
Those pills do crazy things, dude.
He had bad knees too. I remember every time he'd get out of his Cadillac, he had like a really low to the ground CTS, and he'd come out of the car, and you would hear it like when he stood up, you could hear audible pops, and he would just go with his knees, and then he would break out a pill bottle every time. He would always break out a pill bottle. He'd pop one, and then he'd like offer them to us. He'd be like, "You boys want a Xanax?"
Oh god!
And it's like, dude, that's not even a pain pill. You're just taking pills. He was like, man, he was like, you should have, whenever the whole fire thing happened, he came back to the unit later on that night, and Skylar and I were in a hotel, and he called us to like make sure we had turned, I think like we turned the water off and some other shit like that. And he was like, man, I'll tell you what, next time that happens, just call me. Don't do anything about the fire. Let it burn, and I'll split some of the insurance money with you. He was one of the most underhanded fucking like slumlords on the planet, but he was super. I mean, he was still fun to be around.
Yeah. But that could have been a huge opportunity for him.
Yeah, I mean,
house burns down. He doesn't have to. He just gets to check for it.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. That
and never builds one there again.
Well,
sells the land or something.
He put so much work into remodeling those units. He put some equity into it, and I'm sure they were insured for way more than they were worth. He was
sweat equity.
Yeah, sweat equity.
Sweat equity.
But I mean, looking back on it, I kind of wish I would have just kind of let it burn a little bit and gotten some of that fucking insurance money, because I'm sure it wouldn't have been like a small amount.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you're letting.
Well, the value of the house has gone up significantly probably since he bought it, even at that time.
I can't imagine what he's making on that property now.
I don't know. That neighborhood sucks, dude.
It does, but I mean, that doesn't matter in Colorado anymore, it seems like. I mean, You look at any area, like you look at studio apartments anywhere, you're usually looking at between $1,100 to $1,200 no matter where you are in the state.
Yeah.
Which before that was only like Boulder prices. Like now a single room in Boulder, you're talking like $2,500, $3,000 in some cases.
In the city of Denver, probably too. It's like that.
Yeah. There's like a couple of outliers in that regard, but that's the thing. You know, Denver is so spotty with like what a good neighborhood is versus like a bad neighborhood. Yeah. You never know. It's kind of like, exactly. It's almost like New York, where like you go one block over, it's a completely different world.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it's weird. I mean, as the city grows, that's what we're seeing.
As the world turns.
Shut up.
These are the days of our lives.
That's true. Yeah. Well, let's get into some bad news.
Good God. Well, I've got some good news and some bad news.
Okay, give me the bad news.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
This whole thing
fucking sucks. I mean, this is the biggest pile of shit.
All right. So here we have the LA Times. A boy, 16, was given estrogen for behavioral disorder while in the LA Juvenile Hall suit alleges. This is a pretty serious one because it's actually also pretty funny, which is why I chose
How can they get away with that?
Well, that's the whole problem. That's why there is there's a lawsuit going on right now, because this kid developed like large breasts as a result.
Oh, man.
Yeah, dude. So, and you're 16. That's the worst time to ever have, like, no one, even adults are not understanding about a 16-year-old with breasts or any man with breasts. Like, you're getting made fun of, dude, no matter what.
Guaranteed.
So right here it says a 16-year-old boy being held at a Los Angeles County Juvenile Hall developed enlarged breasts after he was prescribed estrogen to treat a behavioral disorder, a move that baffled doctors who said the treatment defied medical logic, according to a lawsuit filed last month. Well, obviously. But this is also another thing. It's like, what was this kid doing that was so horrendous that it warranted estrogen therapy?
Did they do like a blood test? Or like, oh my God, his testosterone's through the roof.
You know,
that's why he's crazy.
You know what it was? I bet you a couple of the hospital staff or the juvenile hall staff, they were like, you want to keep being a fuckboy? You want to keep insulting us personally and shit like that? Let's give him tits. See how fucking tough he is after we give him a set of tits.
Take him down a notch.
Walking around, it's like he can't shower with any of the other guys because they're always trying to tit fuck him in the shower. Poor kid.
Basically menstruating.
Yeah. Okay. He's been bleeding out of his ass every month. The teen whose identity is being withheld because of his age was diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD. They just put a tag on anything these days. 2 days after he was arrested and housed at East Lake Juvenile Hall in June 2019, the lawsuit says.
So what do you get arrested for? Does it say? Or?
I'm not sure. Well,
I don't know if they tell what kids get arrested for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole tough.
Yeah.
I wish they would. It's kind of like when people, like, I know we've said this before, but like people on social media, when they post that somebody died or
Stop
something.
being a tease.
Yeah, it's like, just tell us how the motherfucker died. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not emotionally invested. Like, it sucks that it happened. And it sucks that it sucks for you. But just
Sucks
tell
that it
me,
sucks.
if you're going to make death public, just tell people how they died and quit. Just give them the details.
Everyone's wondering.
Well, it's like, obviously,
Everyone wants to know.
well, it's like, obviously, if you're posting about a death, you're seeking some kind of attention.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's call it what it is. You're not out
Yeah,
here.
when people are,
You're not doing it 100% just to inform friends and family. If a friend or a family member dies, then that group of people are going to know when it happens. You don't need social media.
It's just like a thirst trap.
Yeah,
That's another form of thirst trappery, dude.
Yeah, it's an
Right there.
emotional thirst trap.
Mhm.
So let's see. Medical records reviewed by the Times show that the kid's testosterone levels were slightly high. He's a
See, that's
16-year-old
what I told you.
teenage man, dude. Like,
That was my only theory on why they would give it to him.
when the doctor who diagnosed him prescribed daily doses of estrogen. Estrogen regulates the development of female sexual characteristics and reproduction. Men produce the hormone at much lower levels. After taking approximately 13 daily doses of the hormone, the teen was diagnosed with gynecomastia, defined as an enlargement or swelling of breast tissue in males whose estrogen levels is too high, records show. That's kind of like dude from Fight Club, bitch tits.
Yeah, bitch tits mom.
Yeah. Oh no. ODD, a behavioral. You down with ODD? A behavioral condition. I'll give myself one of those. Got a fucking 0. ODD, a behavioral condition that is sometimes suffered by patients with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is normally treated.
You know, I guess you could say this disorder is odd. Go ahead.
We need a new co-host.
I just was doing a palate cleansing for his bomb.
That's true. He was cleaning up the nuclear fallout. Let's see. So
Just making sure there was no other survivors.
Glass them. They're saying that it's normally treated with just therapy. They don't really go into what that therapy is. I'm guessing it's
not estrogen.
No,
That's the
no.
answer.
Estrogen is not a treatment for ODD. I can't be more emphatic about that. You wouldn't find a reference anywhere that supports the use of estrogen for ODD. Well, obviously not. This sounds, to me, honestly, this sounds like staff that were just tired of this kid fucking running amok and probably talking shit all the time. Probably like, and they're frustrated because like, oh, we can't hit him, but what can we do to get this little bastard back?
Well, now he's getting paid. That's for sure.
Well, speaking to the microphone, but
oh, what?
It's a broadcasting mic. You gotta talk straight onto this thing.
Yeah, well, he's gonna get paid for sure.
Yeah,
There's gonna be a
it's
huge
looking like
lawsuit.
it.
That's all it is.
It's looking like it, and
rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody gave me tits, I'd be fucking furious.
Yeah.
Unless I could lean over enough to create friction on my hog, then I'd probably be okay with it. You
Not
wouldn't
sure the juice is worth the squeeze there, but
you wouldn't titty fuck yourself if you had the ability to?
Nah.
Would you blow yourself if you could?
I'm sure in my younger years there'd be a time
boy.
where you would at least try it out.
Boy.
Well, you would okay.
I would absolutely
Yeah,
suck my
come
own
on.
dick, man.
So yeah, but for sure, you would definitely try it out if you could do it. I went to high school with a dude that could do it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Was he just always relaxed and calm?
I don't know. He was just like, he was kind of tall, like probably 2 inches shorter than me.
So that means he was probably packing some wood, though, if he could reach down that far.
Probably.
Because I can't imagine you're taking it down to the root if you can suck your own.
The only reason I know, he showed us with clothes on.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you can't do that. And he
He just got right down there?
If he took his dick out, you could definitely do it.
Damn, good for him.
Yeah.
I'm so envious with people like that.
What's his name? That porn star, old guy.
Oh, not Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy.
He can?
He says he can.
I'd like to see that.
I think
with that
he's
giant
probably,
fucking pot belly.
I know.
Oh, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, yeah. So this is another problem. There's been an emergence of COVID contraction parties. I don't know if you guys have heard about these, but this is a phenomena that's
Bug chasers.
Yeah, exactly. They got the bug back in '92, sharing needles. But these guys they're mostly just kids. I mean, these are like college age kids and below that are holding these contraction parties, and basically what they're doing is they're putting money into a pot essentially, and like what's going on is they're betting on who will catch it or if they can transmit it and stuff like that, just being fucking idiots about it. But I think
this could be one of those things where it's a media hype that
It could
really
be.
isn't going on.
It could be because
you see that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It could be. And also in this well, actually, the fucking what's his name? That piece of shit YouTuber. I think it's Jake Paul.
I don't know, isn't there two of them?
Yeah, there's two of them, but I think it was the Jake Paul character. He's getting in trouble because he's been throwing COVID parties at his big mansion, whatever, and now the mayor in the town he lives in is trying to see like what she can do to impose like fines or what she can do, like what kind of power she has to punish the guy. But that's the thing is like the kid's net worth is like $19 million.
I think it's a lot more than that.
Well, yeah, that's just what's reported.
Yeah.
So I mean, the kid's got
he's got enough money,
resources to stay out of trouble. But yeah, I guess this could go one or two ways, and of course the media always, like, especially in this clip, I'm pretty sure it's this one that I chose, where they interview a couple of like young kids on the street, and of course they find the dumbest fucking people they can find.
Yeah.
But
they probably interviewed smart people too, but
oh yeah, but
that ain't cutting the news.
No. If anything, they cut the audio out of it and it becomes B-roll for something else. But I got this clip right here that kind of goes a little bit into further detail.
Crowded pool parties, alcohol flowing freely, barely a mask in sight. Whether
Barely a
public
mask in sight.
venues or backyard barbecues, authorities say these are the conditions that fuel community spread. In Tuscaloosa,
Why wouldn't you
Alabama,
cut the music
a
out
rash
of
of
that?
new infections among young adults, prompting alarm from local officials.
We had seen over the last few weeks parties going on in the county where students or kids would come in with known positives.
As improbable as it sounds, officials say they've received
Known
reports
positives.
of parties where positive tests are celebrated.
These kids are having parties and they're putting money in a pot and they're purposely trying to get COVID from the person who has COVID, and apparently whoever gets COVID first gets the pot.
The University of
So
Alabama
stupid.
says it's not been able to identify any students who participate.
You know what? I think you might be right on this one, because that sounds like a parent, the same type of parent who would have like gone before a community outreach group or something, or like a city council meeting or something like that, and been like, rap is destroying the foundation of our nation's youth and shit like that, like just kind of sensationalizing.
I don't know if I buy it, but
and also like,
maybe it happened once, but is it just it's rampant all over the place? I don't know.
well, yeah, that's the thing is like this sounds like this might be like isolated incidences.
Yeah.
But that really does. And then another thing too, if you're gonna go, this is another thing that just sticks in my craw, is the fact that like some of these people, you're about to go on air with a media outlet. Can you make sure you have fucking proper sound equipment so you're not in a trebly room and you're not ruining the fucking audio of a
not gonna make sure about
a struggling podcast? No, I hate that shit though. I always hate the concerned parent. The concerned parent usually doesn't know shit about what's going on.
No.
Yeah.
Participated in such activities. It's not just college kids holding parties.
Cheers again to an incredible 75 years.
In the nation's capital, wealthy socialite Ashley Taylor Bronzik hosted a swap.
What's a socialite?
It's someone who's from a lineage just of rich. She just inherited money.
That's it. So she like you get so it basically means you don't do shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck her. She should go back. She should go backpacking in Morocco.
She's got the pulse of America, I'm sure.
I hope she gets fucking.
She knows what's going on.
Killed in a limo accident.
Soiree at her home following an online gala for the Washington Ballet. The Washington Post reports Bronzik was later diagnosed with COVID-19, along with some of her guests. There's no reason to believe she knew she was ill that night, the paper writes, nor is it clear how or when she contracted the virus.
Of course
Bronzik did not respond to NBC's request for comment.
Would you?
Yeah, whatever. She's a socialite.
Yeah, I probably would too. You could probably get some of that socialite money out of her.
Probably.
Like, daddy needs a tag here. Watch.
Please cooperate. I am speaking especially
there's a
to the
looker
younger
for you.
adults now.
In New York's Rockland County, a large party hosted by an infected person has
Uh-oh.
led to at least 8 other cases, those individuals refusing to cooperate with contact tracers, working to identify others at risk.
I am now forced by these circumstances to send subpoenas to the individuals
Subpoenas.
who are required to cooperate with us.
On the eve of Independence Day, for some, no holiday.
hot girl right
Health
there.
officials desperately working to flatten the infection curve again.
Is that just in Alabama?
No, they kind of touched on a little, like on a couple of states. There was California, New York, I think Florida.
Oh yeah, the socialite.
Yeah, like just vacation spots as well as anywhere there's going to be affluence. I think that's the only places you really need to worry about these types of parties happening. Which I mean, we're in the suburbs outside of Denver. We're fine, I think, in terms of avoiding COVID parties.
Well, I mean, this state's doing pretty good by comparison.
Oh, big fucking time.
I mean, up in Boulder, that might be a different case, but
That doesn't surprise me.
Good point.
Well, they can quarantine that Boulder up. I'm fine.
Oh, I would love that. They're already in their own little fucking world anyway.
Yeah.
I say fuck building a wall at the Mexico border. Build a wall around Boulder.
Not the county.
No, not the county, just proper, like downtown Boulder. Build a wall around it. Drop rations in once every couple of years.
Some patchouli oil.
Yeah, some patchouli oil, a couple of opal crystals and shit like that. Whatever the fuck. Oh, speaking of, I saw
some
the
oils.
some essential oils.
Yeah.
Careful, Logan. That's a little close to home, isn't it? But I saw this terrible Instagram post today, and I was checking the Brass Tacks account, and I don't know why, but we were following some crystal bitch. And I think it might have been one of the pages I followed when we were talking about crystals on one of the past episodes. But this chick had literally like a crystal that was the size of like the hood of a car or something like that. It was super wide. There was just a shitload of crystals growing off of it. And she like had it posed in all these different weird pictures. Like she was cradling it on the ground, and like she was talking about how like she was absorbing the energy, cleansing her chakras and shit. I was like, I wish somebody would just roll that fucking thing off of a roof on top of her.
How there's just no rational like skepticism,
dude,
when it comes to things.
Well, that's the thing. If you try to be skeptic about
crystals work, man.
Well, if you try to be a skeptic about any of that shit, then you're just going to be called like, oh, you're just not enlightened, man. You just don't know, man.
Yeah, but they even have the old people marketed with that copper stuff.
Oh yeah, and don't let us not forget colloidal silver.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend that lives here. He's telling me how him and his wife take colloidal silver. I'm like, I think that's I didn't say anything, but I'm like, that's like
it's gonna turn them blue.
That's fake, dude.
Dude, I told you I had that fucking customer at the dispensary. Like I had been serving this one lady for the better part of 5 years or so. And I like when I first started helping her out at the dispensary, she started taking that colloidal silver. By the time I got over to the other dispensary I was fired from, she followed me over there and started going there instead. By the time I was done over there, she was almost all the way blue. Like her face and neck were super blue. Her arms and her hands were starting to turn blue. And she gave me like a little container of this colloidal silver shit. And she was like, yo, you should try this stuff. I'm telling you, take care of a lot of your problems. And I'm just like, you look like a crazy fucking person. Like, can you even
be good for you?
Well, can you even get near a magnet?
I think you'd be fine.
It would just be amazing if like one of those.
Is silver a ferrous metal? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think you're. I don't think
gold's magnetic either.
No, it's not. Fucking that would be funny though if like those big magnets they pick up cars and trucks with to bring them to the crusher.
Yeah,
you just line up people that take colloidal silver and just pick them up and drop them into a fucking crusher. Extract the silver, and make them money, make a couple of monies.
Yeah, I don't get that craze. Like, what's the?
I don't get it.
I mean,
either.
You're eating or consuming silver, and that's somehow like.
Well,
keeps the vampires away. I mean, a vampire would never bite you, though.
That's a werewolf.
Just a bunch of
that's a werewolf.
Okay.
Vampires are not adverse to silver.
Damn it.
Just a bunch of baloney boys. That's all it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, that's right. I was
baloney
trying to think
silver.
of Underworld. So the vampires had the silver bullets, and then the werewolves had the UV bullets.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because when they would shoot them, they'd disintegrate and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that concept. I love that concept. There's nothing better than that scene where Kate Beckinsale is firing those automatic pistols in a circle because first of all, those pistols would never hold that many rounds and they would never penetrate the ground to the point where she could stomp through it and fall to the next floor below her. And not only that, but it's a
vampire.
Well, it's a fucking werewolf. They run fast. She only drops one floor and leaves a giant hole behind her. Of course, the werewolf's going to jump through that hole.
That's true too. And they're silver bullets. Silver bullets are probably super soft by comparison.
Yeah, so I don't see that going through floor joists and stuff like that. Get the fuck out of here. But that's the magic of
theater of the mind.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Theater of the mind. Yeah. I just can't get angry at Kate Beckinsale in fucking leather, dude. She's still fine as hell too. Isn't she like in her 50s now?
No, she's not that old.
Logan?
On it.
All right, next up, we've got Deutsche Bank slammed with $150 million fine for
what bank
failing.
Is this?
Deutsche. I say it how I want to say it, dude. You're not going to fucking tell me any different.
If you know how to say it.
She's 46.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So they get slammed with $150 million fine for failing to flag Jeffrey Epstein's shady transactions, which, if you know anything about Deutsche, it's $150 million is absolutely fucking nothing to these people. And
yes, Deutsche Bank is worth probably close to $1 trillion. They probably have $1 trillion in assets, probably.
Well, maybe Deutsche
I could be
is
wrong, but
Deutsche's different. They have 100 trillion. That didn't work. Just want to take this time to apologize to the audience. I will try to be better for you. So it looks like here so first of all, the biggest thing that kind of stuck out in this article to me is the fact that they were fined $150 million for their what they called mistakes and sloppiness in its relationship with accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm getting sick of the word accused. Has it not been proven? He was convicted years ago.
Yeah.
The dude's a kid toucher.
Yeah.
Let's drop the accused.
You're right. $1.298 trillion is their net income or net worth of last year.
God damn, and you know it's more than that. You know it's way.
It doesn't matter if it's more than that. That's a fuckload. that's like equivalent of $150 for them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
You have trillions.
Well, this is
trillions.
This is the reason I bring this up.
Trillions.
Yeah, I heard you.
Right.
Trimillionaire.
All right.
There's another one. I fucking suck, dude. So the biggest thing that stuck out in this article to me was the fact that they get this fine, right? And the mainstream media makes it seem like, oh, $150 million, what a fucking slam. But then they turn around and they invest over $1 billion into training and restructuring and a financial crime unit for their bank. To you, doesn't that sound like they were thumbing their nose at the system? Because what they're doing is they just put up way more than they were fined, and they're building their own criminal or financial crimes unit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Can we really?
It was probably part of the deal.
Well, but
you have to do this.
But my thing is like that money's just they're investing $1 billion into themselves.
Well, yeah,
the money's staying in house.
The fact that they're willing to spend that much means they made 100-fold off of that.
True.
Yeah.
And also, can we really trust a financial crimes unit that's employed by the bank?
No,
yeah,
not an internal.
And they're over here bragging about it and shit like that.
Not even an external one if they're the ones paying them.
Oh, another crazy thing about this was the fact that so a couple of their junior people that kind of go through potential relationships with other banker or with customers and stuff like that, they flagged Epstein's account when he started trying to bank with them. And so two of the bank's executives went to his New York place, that fucking stupid condo we always see in all the articles and all the
really nice place.
Yeah. So they go there to meet with him. They already know that he's been convicted of being a kid fucker. They go there to investigate whether or not they can still have him as a potential client.
Right.
Two executives go. There's no record of what took place. There's no record of any conversations, nothing like that. They stay there for a couple of days, then they fly back and they report, oh, I think we can go forward with this deal. And one of the biggest red flags was the fact that Epstein was consistently using over like $250,000 in cash annually. And not only that, but several multi-million-dollar transfers of cash were happening.
Yeah.
To what they say. They didn't use any names, but like you can obviously draw your conclusions from what they've laid out. They were saying like ex-politicians, current politicians, members of European royal families, things of that nature. So just everything, like all these suspicions confirmed through this bank. And now these guys, like the fucking Deutsche Bank, they get slapped on the wrist with this little fine. And past that, they facilitated sex trafficking with their bank, and nothing's fucking happening because of it.
Nope.
Nothing's going to be done.
Nothing will happen because of it.
It's just insane that we live in this fucking world where people are allowed to do that.
Well, I think Bank of America got busted a couple years ago, and for basically laundering money for cartels.
Yeah. I think that's happened to a few institutions,
and they're a huge bank. They're probably in their trillions too. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Probably wouldn't even have to look it up. It's if Deutsche Bank is. I'm assuming they are.
Yeah, because they've been. I mean, dude, Bank of America, weren't they the first bank? Like before they were Bank of America, I know they were called something else.
Bank
but
of Italy.
So, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so yeah, they've been around.
It was in America, but it was called the Bank of Italy.
Gotcha. So yeah, they've been around forever. So I'd imagine, they're neck and neck in that whole.
Oh, there's tons of banks like Chase, and all those guys are
right.
They merged with J.P. Morgan.
But that's the thing. This just adds to the scope of the problem, because if banks know, especially a bank that was caught this red-handed, other banks know that, of course, they're not going to hesitate to deal with cartel members. They're not going to hesitate to deal with sex traffickers.
There's billions of dollars on the line.
Yeah, and
they can make.
Well, that's basically what they look at it as, is like, one of the executives was quoted as saying, the reason we went through with this deal was not due to like ethical reasons. It was due to the fact that we were set to make, I think it was like 20 to 30 million over a certain projected amount of time, and they were just going after that, and that alone had nothing to do, like they didn't give a fuck about what this guy was doing, which is why none of the transactions were flagged.
Deposits are really important to banks,
obviously.
Right? So,
well, yeah, I mean, they need it to stay viable.
The more cash deposits you have,
well, yeah, that's
especially
the thing.
large amounts. Yeah, you can make a lot of money.
Well, yeah,
those deposits.
It backs up those loans too. The more money you have at your disposal, the more you can lend, the more you're gonna see in return. All that.
Well, the more you have of deposits allows you to take on more debt.
Oh, okay.
Right? So yeah,
gotcha. So yeah,
you can lend more money. You can do more, risky things like that.
Nice. Yeah, see. That's the thing. I'm always glad to talk to you about these types of things, because I feel like there's so much that we do not know as common citizens about our banks and about the way money works, because they just don't teach us in schools.
Yeah.
It's not within these corporations and these banks' best interests to have a bunch of financial or fiscally savvy people.
No, you need a bunch of idiots.
Right.
So they can basically guide you on everything.
Yeah,
the way they want it, their narrative.
That's the thing, is if you're informed about your finances and how to make smart financial moves, then you're not going to take out small business loans to start a stupid fucking cake store or something.
Yeah, you're not going to use credit cards, like max them out. And,
right. But yeah, this just, I don't know. This was one of those articles. Like, I know this isn't brand new news. This happened like a week ago, but it just pisses me off that the real problem's not being tackled here.
No, it's just they accept it as just part of doing business.
Right.
If something negative comes up, doesn't matter. They're not going to shut them down.
Well, that's the thing.
They'll pay a small fine that looks like a lot to regular people, but
right.
If you just know that they're worth, over $1 trillion, doesn't mean anything.
And again, that brings up a really good point. The fact that people don't know any better than, like, the scope of these institutions' wealth is so astronomical and so unbelievable to the common man that if you saw these numbers written down on paper, you saw exactly how easy it was for them to get rid of hundreds of millions of dollars and not even break a sweat.
Right.
That's just unimaginable to the normal person, to the average everyday citizen. So yeah, you're right. This is basically just a fucking article that's meant to, I guess, clean up the public image of Deutsche. And what?
Oh, it's Deutsche.
You like it? It's Deutsche. It's Deutsche.
No.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. This makes me sick, man. I hope
they're a German bank.
Well, obviously, I
just for clarification.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. The thing is like, when you think about it, it always raises the question: how do you fix this?
Well, I mean, look at when 2008 when we did a huge crash.
Mm-hmm.
They're too big to fail. We're going to bail them out, and then we're going to set more regulations so this doesn't happen again. Well, it's happening again already.
Exactly.
Banks, there's a more consolidated, like few banks that run everything. They have doubled or tripled since their net worth of that company.
Right. Well, that's what happens.
They're doing the risky investments. They're more like it's more siloed than ever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, essentially what we're doing is we're creating these weird little monopolies.
10 times worse. It's going to be 10 times worse. They never addressed the issue.
Right.
They bailed them out, 0 interest loans. They paid those back. Thanks for the free money.
Yep.
Now we're worth twice what we were. 3
exactly.
times what we were.
Yeah, you're feeding a monster. You're just feeding a fucking monster.
They never addressed it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They let them because they have too much influence.
Right. Well, that's the thing. The politicians
money in politics.
Well, that's the thing. The politicians that are supposed to be enforcing these laws are gaining their offices through fucking these very institutions that are supposed to protect us against.
Yeah.
Fucking enraging.
Don't say anything how I fucked everyone over. Here's a check.
Yeah, exactly.
Campaign. Because basically the rule is he who raises the most money statistically wins.
Right.
That's all they ever base it on, their metrics. So it's not so whoever gives you the most money. They'll take care of you.
We are in so much trouble, dude.
Well,
The fact that we have a talk show is cool because I'm looking forward to the election year. But as an American and as a citizen, I'm just like, what? Why are we still going through the same motions when we all know it's fucking fake?
Are there even going to be debates?
Well, that's another question.
Biden's
it's
like a fucking has been hit. You haven't seen him in forever,
right?
I don't know what he's doing. Just hung up at his house.
The last time I saw Biden was when he was doing that open air kind of like. He had a bunch of these old bags and he was addressing women's rights and being moms and stuff because of his, he was trying to clean up after his allegations.
Got a great track record.
Right. Yeah. And so that's the last I saw of him. But you're right. He's nowhere to be found. And also Trump's too much of a fucking baby to get into a fight, like a verbal disagreement with somebody. Like I can see him just walking off and being like, I'm out of here.
He could. He'll try to rile up his fan base.
Well, at least I don't fuck kids. And Biden's like, well, hold on there, mister. Don't make me come over here.
Cut the malarkey.
Yeah. Oh, God, I can't stand his voice, dude. That's another thing, too. Can we get a viable candidate? I don't even care what side it's on. Just get a fucking person in there that knows what they're talking about.
Those get pushed out, dude.
They get pushed out like a bad log.
Yeah, I mean.
They get pushed out like a coffee shit.
Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard.
I would, yeah. Yeah.
I'd vote the fuck out of her.
I would have voted for her. I would have voted for Yang. And from Yang's perspective, I like him financially. I like how he looks at
he's good too.
I just like how he views finance in America and like the individual citizen and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of his ideas would be really good to be implemented. Even if he didn't get into office, like could somebody please listen to the man and maybe try implementing some of that stuff? I don't even give a fuck about the UBI stuff. But it's just
I hear what you're saying, but
it just pisses me off that like we're just going out of I can't say we as the citizens have no control over this, but the people that are elected and put into office, it's getting to the point now where even on a local level, it's getting harder and harder to vote people in that actually give a shit about their communities.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a fucking narrative. Everybody's got a hidden agenda, and that hidden agenda is literally just amass wealth.
Yeah.
There's
Cash
no other
rules everything around me, dude.
You better be careful. You're gonna get us a copyright strike.
I know.
Oh boy, let's get into fucking baloney boys. Deutsche Bank. All right. So this week, our baloney boy is none other than Twitter.
Do you mean Jack Dorsey by that? Or?
No, I mean Twitter as a whole.
Oh,
all of Twitter. Yeah, because it just sounds like with this. Well, first of all, let's just say what we're talking about here. Everybody knows by now. There was a massive hack that happened on Twitter. A lot of verified accounts, past politicians, millionaires, billionaires having their accounts hacked. And basically what was happening is these hackers were posting, I guess, so this is a weird thing. They were posting links to a Bitcoin wallet, and they were basically saying, you put in whatever amount in Bitcoin you want to, I'll send you back double. Now, that sounds outlandish, but
this is a RuneScape.
Yeah, right.
This is
yeah,
RuneScape.
This reminds me of this. It literally, yeah, you're right. It reminded me of tricking people out of furniture on Habbo Hotel. But so basically, what happened was, people fell for this scheme because first of all, it was coming from several verified accounts, and also some of the verified accounts have done these promotions in the past. Like Bill Gates and Elon Musk have both posted QR codes that you can scan, send Bitcoin or Ethereum in, and they'll send you double
What's
the
the
amount
point?
back.
What? Just send me it. Why do I have to send you something? That
Because
doesn't logically make any sense.
Well, they need to be able to route back to your wallet, or I guess whatever that fucking thing is.
But didn't these guys make like $100,000 or something like that?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So basically what happened was these hackers were able to exploit one or several of the Twitter employees' accounts. And so that's how
they
they
had
got
everyone's information at that point.
Yeah, they
All
had
the big people.
They had all these verified accounts. They had direct messages, all of these different credentials for these accounts. And they basically just, they catfished. They catfished us. I shouldn't say us. I didn't fall for that. What'd you say?
One of the accounts was Obama's.
Yeah, it was several prominent members of our society, our sick society.
Scapegoats.
Trying to push her into a codeine overdose, Sam. We're just your scapegoats. But let's see. I got a little article, or not an article, but a little clip here of it kind of breaks down the goings on of what happened.
Joe Biden today assured his supporters he'll never ask them to send him Bitcoin cryptocurrency for donations. That comes after Biden's verified Twitter account and those of many other famous people were compromised by hackers in a devastating attack. They got to the accounts of former President Obama, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, other celebrities like Kim Kardashian West and Kanye West, and companies like Apple and Uber. And they did it.
Oh, that's funny.
It's so hard to see him in that hat and take him seriously. Do you see the guy sitting next to him too? Like, what are you doing, brother? Look at him. Look at that guy's just like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man?
He's like, yeah.
That's another thing that sucks about money is that everyone around you just is so afraid to say something because they don't want that fucking money to dry up.
Oh, I know.
You
just keep that drip.
Yeah, dude, that slow drip.
And companies like Apple and Uber. And they did it, Twitter says, by doing what's called social engineering.
What actually seemed to happen was that a Twitter employee was hacked, and that Twitter employee had sort of access to the master controls that could control or take over a lot of these accounts.
After
I don't understand a word that guy said.
He had a weird accent. I don't even know what that accent
he was.
Was.
Fumbling like over every other word.
An Irish accent.
He's a fat nerd in the tech sector. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like he's probably not the most sociable person on the planet. But this is my thing.
Hey,
no one person should have access to all that shit. This should be like a nuclear silo because these. Okay, so basically, you know how like people that launch nukes, you have to have two people turn the key at the same time. All that horse shit.
Yeah.
That's how privileged information on social media should work because these guys.
White privileged?
No, okay. Like, shut the fuck up.
Get the fuck out of my house.
But what needs to happen is there has to be some sort of oversight on these companies because these social media platforms are growing to or they've already grown to such a crazy level that they can influence elections, like all types of shit. And speaking of, I mean, okay, so first of all, if somebody is able to hack and get into these politicians' accounts, these verified accounts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine if they did that like on an election night, like or the day before an election or something like that? You could fuck up an entire country's election process.
President, they could just say something just fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, and we could all imagine what would probably be said.
They'd be all like, "Yeah, I believe that Trump actually tweeted that."
Or no, if they really wanted to fuck him, what if they just tweeted something super woke and it just lost him the election? Oh no!
Or what if like someone said, "I am legalizing weed tomorrow"?
Oh shit!
And like he would, since he didn't want to admit getting hacked, he would just pass it.
He's like, "Tomorrow, I'm passing a bill to legalize medicinal PCP." Just a bunch of people freaking out naked in the streets on election day, flipping over cars and shit.
Make sure you vote.
A fake tweet from Bill Gates said, "I am doubling all payments sent to my Bitcoin address for the next 30 minutes. You send $1,000, I send you back $2,000.
I mean, you didn't have to explain.
The other famous accounts had almost identical inducements. Tonight, the FBI is leading an investigation. 2 U.S. intelligence officials tell
Sounds like Twitter took an inducement.
CNN, it's too early to tell if the attack is by a lone wolf hacker or someone working for a nation state. But cyber experts
What's
tonight
up?
are calling this nightmarish for what
Some
could
dude
happen in
named
the
Kyle
future.
in his mom's
President
basement.
Trump's
Oh,
Twitter
definitely.
account does
I
not
hope
appear
so.
to have been targeted in this hack. But the president makes
Oh, do you hear that?
nightmarish for what could happen in the future. President Trump's Twitter account does not appear to have been targeted in this hack.
Inside
but the
job.
president makes many of his announcements and dictates policy, sometimes over Twitter. What if?
That's another thing that's just insane to me. How active the president is. Not his staff, but the president himself gets on Twitter like a fucking teenage girl, and has emotional responses like a teenage girl would have.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this man like 100?
I would go to say he's probably more active on Twitter than Elon Musk is. And
Oh, yeah.
Dude, okay, Trump is more active on Twitter than he is in the fucking White House.
Right.
It's just insane.
He's eating his fucking burger, watching Fox News, and then just tweeting, dude. Just getting on a tweet.
Fair and balanced.
Watching Tucker Carlson.
You could imagine how deeply damaging it could be if you saw a tweet from a compromised account, whether it's the president or
I'm
somebody
glad they had
else
to go
in
to an
senior
expert
position.
for this opinion.
Yeah.
Woo, really?
Laura Rosenberger.
Thanks for that sage advice.
What a plain Jane too. She looks like she just does straight
She had to put
missionary
books, too. Oh, she's definitely doing that. But look at, she has to put a bunch of books. I read. Look at all these books I've read behind me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you
She hasn't
can't.
read any of
Well, she's wearing glasses too, so you know she's smart.
Yep. Pantsuit.
Saying, that we had launched some sort of attack on North Korea. And North Korea might not know whether or not that is true.
Experts say America's
Fuck 'em.
enemies could send the financial markets
Fuck
into
us
a
too.
spiral by seizing a
yeah.
verified Twitter account and putting out false information. And the fact that Biden
Joe Biden with that mask on.
in the midst of election season is
I can't see out of this fucking thing. I can't see out of this fucking thing. I can't breathe out of this fucking thing. They just catch him freaking out. I want more Biden bloopers, man. There hasn't been any because he's been staying out of the public
he's been
eye.
tucked away, dude.
That's why.
Yeah,
Too many bloopers of him.
dude. I bet you the Democrats are just shitting their pants right now. I feel like Republicans and Democrats are just shitting their pants.
I bet you
in
Hillary
general.
had to replace him with a lizard person. That's why he's been
They're waiting to have the tailectomy. They have to cut his tail off so he fits into these cheaply made suits. I hate a politician's suits.
They're
the
probably
worst.
super expensive.
Well, of course, that's what pisses me off, and they look like trash.
Yeah.
very concerning because of fake tweets the hackers could have sent from his account.
It certainly seems like they may have been able, technically speaking,
Ooh,
to
if there's a school shooter.
make him say things he never would say. That could indeed be quite damaging to him.
And analysts say hackers could grab Twitter accounts, send fake information, and spark dangerous confusion on election day itself.
You say had a lot of accounts that suddenly started tweeting allegations that there had been fraud or something was rigged or that there was foreign interference.
I thought she was
and
gonna say
that people
rape.
couldn't trust the outcome.
She was going
You could
for
also
it.
imagine
She was
people
going for it.
having significant
It's all
doubts
romance
then
novels
created
behind her,
about
actually.
the outcome of the
Oh my
election.
god.
Very aggressive romance novels.
Bunch of Anne Rice novels. S is for strangled. I don't know. Do you guys remember those books? Like my mom used to read those books religiously. Every time a new letter would come out.
I thought Anne Rice was a vampire writer.
Is she? Oh yeah. Who am I thinking of? I might be thinking of somebody else. Susan something maybe. But anyway, there's like
I'm
a
sure
book.
there's like 80 Susans who write romance novels.
Well, these are crime books that I'm talking about, and they would always be so that she would go through the
Romance
alphabet.
crime novels?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there was romance involved. It's some whole right in it. I'm sure there's romance involved.
Yeah.
But basically, her chronology was A to Z, and so when you got to book B, it was like, oh, this is whatever her name's B for betrayal. They were always titled like that.
Oh God.
But my mom would fly through these books. She fucking loved them. Her and my grandma would trade books and stuff like that.
Why?
Because they needed something to do,
Some
Adam.
stimulation.
Yeah, we did. It's not like we had an internet connection to my house.
No, I get it, but I get it. I never understood before we had internet why people were still reading those stupid romance novel books.
Because these bitches need to get hot and bothered somehow. They're over there. I mean, their husband's most likely working, or he's overseas fucking somebody who's not deteriorating in front of them. And they're just rubbing their giners up against like furniture corners, and they need something to I guess be the catalyst for the romantic thoughts and things like that. Girls don't get off on the same shit dudes do. Like we could imagine some strange,
Magic
like
Dragons.
gross looking broad walks up to us in a dark lit parking lot and she's like, yo, I'll suck your dick for $5. And there's a lot of dudes that would probably take her up on that if nobody's watching.
Imagine Bad Dragons.
Okay. That actually, that was actually probably funny. I shouldn't have given you that. I take that back. I should actually record the car crash or the turkey crash in reverse so that I can take back turkey crashes.
That'd be actually pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
See what that sounds like.
Yeah, I've got a couple of free sound banks over here. I can.
Looks like you have 2.
Yeah, well, actually, I've only got one because once I put the new frames in for the OBS shit, it'll be taken up. I'll have to get rid of some of these. Actually, there's a lot of sound bites we don't even use. But I forgot what I was getting at. I forgot what I was even fucking talking about. These old biddies. Let's get back to Twitter.
Election, even if there was none of that kind of activity that had happened.
And there's concern tonight about how this hack might have prevented legitimate, important information.
That
from
one
getting
guy
out.
kind of looked
yesterday, just after the hack was discovered, Twitter had to temporarily shut down much of its network
he
of
said
verified
Biden.
Twitter.
Like, I can't see in this mask.
Yeah,
that's like he was voting. Looks like he was like trying to move his mask out of the way to see. Your eyes are completely like.
That's
not
what I'm
covered.
saying.
He was like you didn't need the. You're gonna check a box. You're not like.
Yeah, what are you trying to read?
Well, you have to breathe on this paper.
I gotta breathe.
That's my vote.
I can't see out of this fucking thing. I can't breathe out of this fucking thing.
How am I supposed to vote with this thing on?
They gotta make sure the paper is able to see their lips.
Yeah. Dude, how am I supposed to spit on my ballot? That's one of my favorite lines from Django when the fucking Klansmen are meeting and they're like deciding on how they're gonna wear their masks and stuff like that. The dude's just like, I can't see this fucking thing. I can't ride in this fucking thing.
I'm going home.
Yeah. Screw all y'all. I'm going home.
I feel like that probably would be
accounts,
more
including the Twitter
Yeah.
account.
How are you gonna
of
see? You
the
have no
National
peripheral.
Weather Service, which then could not issue warnings on Twitter about possible tornadoes, several possible tornadoes, then hitting the Midwest during a period yesterday afternoon.
What does that even
What a
fucking matter?
horrendous situation. How much pressure
Wolf Blitzer.
is Twitter under right now to investigate how
that
exactly
you
this
need
was
to,
done?
You need to see the national emergency.
That's where you're gonna find out the real news.
Dude, I'm just getting sick.
Weird news.
I'm getting so sick of all these fucking like older than dirt news anchors, older than dirt fucking politicians.
Well, it's just the age of the media. That's a reflection of the state of the media.
Yeah.
It's old and fucking washed up, dude. Washed up.
I'm also getting sick and fucking tired of hearing Ruth Bader Ginsburg constantly going to the
You
fucking
mean
hospital.
RBG?
Yeah, whatever.
They constantly refer to her as RBG too.
She can go fuck herself, dude. I hate that the older that RBG gets, the more she looks like Larry King.
Oh yeah, RBG. I was thinking of Red, Green, Blue.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
you were,
chorus.
weren't you? But she so basically there was an article the other day. She's back in the fucking hospital. She has cancer again. They found lesions on her liver.
Well,
but
how old
then
is she? She's in her late 90s or something.
no, she's 80. She's 87, I believe.
Oh, I thought you.
Yeah, she's 87.
I mean, that's really old. That's really fucking old.
To hold public office, especially at the level of Congress. And then there was a quote in this article that said she was going to stay in the court or remain in the court as long as she could perform the job full steam. I counted how many fucking she had so many hospitalizations over the last year. It's hard for me to imagine as a sane individual that she's performing her job to a T when she's in and out of the hospital as much as she is. We need to get these fucking old cunts out of the goddamn Congress. We have got to put some term limits on this shit because all she's doing is take advantage. She's taking advantage of that fucking free healthcare for life. She's certainly getting her money's worth on that.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
old bag.
At 87, it might be some rare cases where they have it like really all together mentally, but it's got to be very slim. Even if you are, it's too much of a risk.
She can't even sit up straight in a chair, Adam.
Right.
What you mean to tell me she's making any real decisions?
No, I hope not, but she is.
That's right, Skylar. Skylar says a friggin' man. he's actually just saying he wants a friggin' man.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Is he at work?
I don't know. Are you working, Skylar? Skylar's at work fucking watching or listening. Oh, he's downstairs. He's in the basement. That's fucking awesome.
It's like a horror movie. Oh!
He said he's taming the hog. He's just fucking greasing up that rod while he's listening to brass tags.
The text or the message is coming from inside the house.
Oh shit! I got
Great
panic
movie.
room. Wait, what was messages coming from inside the house?
Remember the call?
Scream.
No, well, yes,
that was one.
But but that's like but there was actual movie based on that. That old. There was one from the 60s.
The
the call's coming from the house. Like it's a babysitter.
Oh, okay.
And the guy's like basically he's inside the
It's
walls.
Joe Biden.
When a stranger calls. Yes, when a stranger calls, I think.
That's right. Yeah, that's pretty quick, fucking Logan. We might actually have to start paying him soon.
1979.
There we go. Yeah.
Nice. Dude, it's just Biden shuffling around a house. I thought I lived here. That's one thing we have to look forward to if Biden gets elected. Is like just a lot of like random brave B&Es. He's just going to confuse people's homes as his own. Be like, oh, I thought, where the fuck am I?
Service with him.
Oh, that's true.
I think he probably still has Secret Service with him because he was the vice president.
Fucking literal Adam over here.
Yeah.
Trying to talk about this doddering old fool.
If he had dementia, it doesn't matter.
You
The
have
Secret
dementia.
Service just kind of guide him around.
That would be cool though to have like bodyguards for life. I would talk so much shit. I'd be walking around just being a bag of shit. I'd be like, hey, what's up, dude? Nice shirt. Does it come in your size? They try to come at you. They just get fucking dogpiled on. All right. Thank you all for joining us for another installment of the Brass Tacks podcast. We're going to get the fuck up out of here. Make sure you subscribe to us on Podbean. Download the app. Search for the Brass Tacks podcast. You can also find us on brasstackspodcast.podbean.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, you ever want to come on or do a call in or anything like that, you can email us.
Call in today from the basement. That would have been funny.
That would have been really good. Yeah, maybe next week. But email us at therealbrasstacks@gmail.com. Follow us on all of our social medias. We're on Instagram, The Real Brass Tacks, Facebook, Brass Tacks Podcast.
Backpage.
Adam. Craig. OnlyFans.
What was the Craigslist thing? Oh, it's just Craigslist, I guess.
Oh, Backpage.
Well, there's Backpage. I thought there was something else.
Intern Logan's on Ashley Madison. Adam's on sugarbaby.com. But yeah, I guess that's it. So until next week, everybody, have a good week. Stay safe. Don't be an asshole. Peace out.
Netscape Navigator. We should have said something about Netscape Navigator.